Let's get started. There seems to be a little, people don't know which room to go to, and they're still out in the lobby, but they're being ushered in here. So I'll go ahead and get started. Okay. I'll wait, actually. I've just been told to wait a few minutes. People are still getting their coffee and just breaking up from the previous session. The good news is that I thought I only had half an hour, and I have an hour. Well, now I have 45 minutes, so we'll be fine. It shouldn't take that long to go through everything. Come on in.
We've been yelling at everybody to come in.
I think people are too excited to walk around and get all their sponsor stamps. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's just get started. Yes. All right, let's get started. So this session is for redesigning Joomla.org. It's a project that's currently undergoing. So if that's not the session you were hoping for, now's the time to leave. Anyway, Cheerleader session, yes, as you can see. My name is Søren Beck Jensen. I'm the CEO of a company called Jensen Technologies. I'm the project lead of redesigning a project we have at the moment in Joomla where we're redesigning the homepage, the front page. You can reach me at those addresses below. I'm a developer myself and a designer, and I've been working with internet since 1994. And I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a Joomla enthusiast. I speak at these events and I volunteer. And I'm currently in the marketing team, in the resources directory, and also part of the Joomla World Conference team. My company, Jensen Technologies, was started in 2005. We only do Joomla development. I have 7 employees, and we're based in Granada in Spain. We do some things you might be familiar with. We develop the component creator for Joomla, and we've recently launched, thank you, and we've recently launched Neno Translate, which is a translation solution for Joomla. We also have our client-facing website, which is not web design, and we run a service called Automatic Backlinks, which is search engine optimization related, not really very Joomla related. Anyway, what we're really here for is to have a peek look at this project, and it's kind of structured. I know there's probably some of you that are interested in seeing a new design, and that is part of it. Not that we have the design ready, we have the wireframe ready, but this is also, for me, it's the first project that I'm leading, and so for me, I thought it would be interesting to share my experiences with that and how a project like this works within the Joomla organization. And how it works that if you put your hand up and say, yeah, I would like to participate in something, then somebody snatches that hand and you quickly get more and more tasks. This is a work in progress. We have gotten to the stage where we have wireframed everything, and we're currently waiting for like approval and for the whole organization to see it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Put your hand up during the presentation. So anyway, the project kind of kicked off on May 30th this year at J & Beyond, which is another Joomla conference that was held in Germany this year. It changes between European countries every year. And that's the group photo from that conference. And at that point, we on the Saturday, come on in and have a seat. At that point, and on the Saturday, we had we break out, like we will tomorrow as well, break out into work groups and actually try to get stuff done within Joomla. And there they call it Make It Happen, and I joined the marketing team at that point, and I joined a subgroup. Actually, Sarah was part of the subgroup as well, where we talked about redesigning the homepage of Joomla. A little quick game. Can anybody find me in that photo? 5, 4, 3, 2.
There it is.
I'm good at putting myself right in the center of attention there. Right, so this is just to refresh people's mind. This is the website as it looked when we got tasked with trying to improve it. So we sat down in this group at J and Beyond, and we looked at this website and said, okay, so what can we do to improve this? And one of the things that immediately caught our eye, I might be going back and forth a little bit. Well, maybe I should just, stay on it a little bit. So one of the things that immediately caught our eye is that the kind of the photo that's there is kind of technical. What it shows is really a responsive template, right? You can see it on an iPad, on a computer, on an iPhone. And that doesn't really show what Joomla is, and it doesn't really help much in understanding what Joomla is. And one of the things we focused on and we wanted to really bring to attention is that the people who visit Joomla.org are typically new to Joomla and don't know what Joomla is about. And so it's very important that we kind of tell that story. And often, and I think this goes for companies as well who are designing their own websites, you tend to maybe use technical jargon that you're used to using within the company, maybe even abbreviations and stuff like that you use in your daily speak. And that was kind of the thing that we wanted to focus on. So another thing that we felt this design was missing was that it has download and demo, but it didn't have Joomla.com, which is an excellent place for people who are new to Joomla to just quickly boot up a Joomla and get started with making a website. Instead, it had a button for Joomla 3. So very quickly in that meeting, we took one of the people in the team, took a photo of her. Well, anyway, let me skip ahead a little bit. So we made an assumption in that meeting, and the assumption was that the front page is for people who are new to Joomla. All of us volunteers and people who are really into the project, we have all sorts of other sub-pages that we use. But people who go to the front page of Joomla we believe are new to Joomla. And we wanted to make it easy to understand what Joomla is, because if you're new to Joomla, you might not even know what a content management system is. So it should be possible to understand. And it should be possible to find the right solution between these three. We have 3 different ways of using Joomla. There's like that you can download it, install it, and get it up and running on your own machine or your own server. You can use demo.joomla.org, or you can use joomla.com. And we wanted to talk about benefits more than we wanted to talk about features. So we quickly ran out and we took a photo of one of the people in the volunteer group, and we changed the text, and we just worked on that header area. And that's what we came up with. We changed the wording to more than 27 million websites. Oh, there's an S missing. That's just a mock-up. It never got implemented, but are powered by Joomla. Flexible, free, and fast, and then a big button that says launch your free website on Joomla.com. Then we have download Joomla and try a Joomla demo as smaller buttons below. And it was just a quick mock-up to kind of have a proof of concept from that meeting, and that was all it ever was. It was never implemented, and we would have gotten a lot of negative feedback from some people if we had ever implemented this, because it's featuring Joomla.com way too much. Anyway, that is what we accomplished at that meeting, and the reason I'm telling this is because I wanted to talk about the story of how to get involved as a volunteer in a project as well. And so after we got home from that, and I think about a month later, I get this on Glip from Mike, who's the leader of the whole marketing team, and he's like, are you still interested in working on the Joomla homepage? And I'm like, sure, I just don't even know where to start. And that's how it started. And he sent me a brief about what needed to be done, and I took the role as team leader. We launched the project, and in the beginning we had a deadline for the whole project. That was September 15th. Now that's way in the past, and we have not completed yet, and that is because the deadline was opened up, because the reason we had that deadline was because Joomla.org was currently at that time running still 2.5, Joomla 2.5, and so it needed to be upgraded to Joomla 3, and they needed to do that by the September 15th deadline, and they thought it would be good if we could have a redesign ready for that upgrade. But we didn't do that, and instead they have upgraded Joomla to 3.5 on Joomla.org, so we don't have this deadline anymore. And that's what I'm saying there. So my first job was to try and find some volunteers for this project who wanted to help out, and for me that has also been an interesting experience. I went out on the social media primarily, and I have a lot of contacts both on Twitter and Facebook that are Joomla related. And so I tweeted, I said, I've been put in charge of redesigning Joomla. If you'd like to help out, let me know. Patience required. And a similar message in a couple of Joomla groups on Facebook. And I got a pretty good response. People are very, very interested, and a lot of people raised their hand. Currently we are 28 people in the Glip group, and that's really where we organize everything, is in Glip. So 28 people said yes. Actually, I think maybe more like 40 people said yes, but 28 of them eventually found their way in. A lot of them had to register on Glip because they had never participated or volunteered for any Joomla program before. But then came my problem. How do you design with 28 people? How do you agree on stuff, and how do you make meetings and stuff? So to me, I feared that it was going to be, actually a lot of time wasting to bring that many people in. So I was a little bit nervous before I called the first meeting, where 4 people showed up. I think it's an interesting lesson can be learned, that people like putting their hand up and say, who wants to help out? And yeah, me, pick me. And they come in, and you spend time and kind of onboarding them. But then when it actually gets crunch time and it's time to actually spend some hours working on it, then less people show up. That was for the first meeting. There was 4 people there. More people have come along since, and I think now we're about 7 people who are actively contributing to this project. Questions? Right, so I look into the numbers because that was kind of the first session we had. Was we got access to the analytics of Joomla.org, and we tried to see, is there anything we can learn from the numbers, from the visitors. And especially a personal interest for me was to see how many, because my assumption has always been that most of the users who go to Joomla.org are new to Joomla, and so it's very important to handhold them and to explain to them what happens. So we immediately saw that 65% of sessions were new, so that means the browser has never been to Joomla.org before, and that's a very high number. But it doesn't mean people could have repeat sessions and still count as a visitor, even though they're new to Joomla, right? So they might be researching, so they might be jumping between WordPress and Joomla and Drupal or something like that, or end up on Joomla one day and then come back another day, which then makes a repeat session. So it's not a new session, but they're still new to Joomla. So we estimate that about 80% of the users who land on the front page of Joomla.org are new to Joomla. And obviously that's a very high number, and that means that that's a very important thing for us to consider in the redesign. So how do you welcome these new users? That became our next focus of the following meetings. And of course, the most important is to explain what is Joomla, because don't assume that just because it could be somebody's cousin has said, well, I use Joomla, go check that out. And so you type Joomla into Google and you end up on Joomla and you're like, well, what is it? You know, we can't start talking about content management systems and responsive designs and technical things like that because people might not even know what a content management system is. So it's important that we try to welcome all types of users. It might also be very technical developers who previously have been developing Drupal and now want to look into maybe developing a website in Joomla. So we have to be able to onboard all of those users. So besides explaining what Joomla is, we also need to show the 3 ways that you can use Joomla. And part of a thing that's important to mention there is that we don't feel that download, which is what we've currently and historically have been promoting, we don't necessarily feel that that is the best option for most users to get started with Joomla. Obviously, if you are a developer, you know that you want to download it and you're going to get it up and running and you know that it's a software for downloading and yeah, it's software like that. And for developers, yes, download is the best option. But for many users who just want to build a website, it's not likely that download is the best solution for you because if you go to a hosting company, they might have like a one-click install, and so you never need to download and install it yourself and upload and stuff like that. Or you go to demo.joomla.org or you go to joomla.com and you launch your website there. So that was also an important kind of change of focus that we wanted. And we don't want any technical jargon, and that's what I was kind of saying before, content management system, responsive templating engine and ACL, and you know, we don't want to use any of that technical jargon on the front page. And we want to focus on the benefits you get out of using Joomla instead of listing a bunch of features. That was kind of the philosophy that we wanted to bring to the front page. And we wanted social proof. So we wanted both testimonials and companies, famous companies using Joomla. And that's what I'm saying there. So, as you can see, this is from the October the 5th. I tweet that we have finished the wireframing for the new Joomla.org homepage. And we'll just start the design phase next. And somebody cheekily asked me if doing wireframing is not part of the design phase, and of course it is. But what I meant was that we have now wireframing, and next we will take a look at the wireframing we've been doing. That's been the biggest part of our job, is to actually sit and make these wireframing. And we think that's what still is being debated and which is still up in the organization is how should we do the actual design. But we think we're going to have some kind of competition where we invite people who are designers to submit their version of the wireframe that we have created. And then we will pick one or parts of several and make that the design. Any questions? Right. So, if you're not familiar with this phase, wireframing is making a very basic layout of the content that you want on your website without any design. Basically, it's best to not use any colors, and sometimes people use like handwritten stuff just to illustrate that it really is just laying out things. And so this is the wireframing. We don't expect it to be gray. And the way, because I couldn't show you, it's going to be like a long website that you scroll down, and so it has different sections, and so I'll show you one section at a time. And this is where I would like to also welcome feedback and questions, because we still have time to change this if people have any ideas. So basically, we have to maintain the top bar that is currently on the website. It's on every single Joomla.org website, and that has to maintain. So we can't change that, and that's not really part of it. That's why it's blue and not gray. But the first section, obviously the most important, and probably also where we spend the most time, we start by saying the free software powering millions of websites. And we have rewritten this a number of times and come up with this as a team. We could have used the word open source instead of free, but we assumed that some of our users who are new doesn't know what open source means. So we want to use the free. And we could also have called content management system instead of software. But again, we wanted to keep everything as simple as possible. Below we say Joomla is an award-winning content management system which enables you to build websites and powerful online applications. And so that's a sub-sentence that hopefully explains a little bit more to the new user what is Joomla. Then we want to show these 3 different areas you can get started with Joomla right away. So we want people to quickly understand that there are different ways to get started with Joomla and what their options are. So to the left we have download Joomla. In the middle we have use Joomla, which is basically joomla.com. So just get started, launch a website on joomla.com. And try Joomla, which is get a free 90-day demo on demo.joomla.org. Any questions to this section? Any feedback? Any ideas? Yes?
Part of the front page, you can answer the client's needs. But more you read or download and everything, I think it would be better to use you as a customer. I mean, would you like a website, a free website, or would you have talk to the customer instead of selling what you have? Talk to the customer needs and everything. Instead of say, okay, I have here, I have Joomla here, I have components, I have. But talk to the customer himself and say, you want a website, you want a free website, you want a robust website, and you want extension.
So you're saying using the... Well, we don't know what people want. That's the problem. And also, I don't call them customers because, you know, for me, I consider it more inviting people into our family. You know, when they land on this website. I understand. I think there's actually a big debate about what you're talking about and almost opposing thoughts of whether or not you should be talking. And so, like, yeah, I agree that we are selling, but I'm from a different school, I think, and I like to kind of like overselling. I think, personally, I don't like it when I go to a website and I feel almost, what's it called, patronized? This is what we're doing. I think we are marketing, and you'll see the following sections we're talking more. For me, the first section, the most important section, is to explaining what Joomla is and showing which options are available. Any other questions for this section? Yes?
So before doing all these things, have you defined the primary target customers of primary users of Joomla itself? Because from what I'm seeing, you are trying to make the Joomla more friendly, right? More friendly.
Well, this is not Joomla. This is the homepage of Joomla, right?
Well, yes, but the homepage represents the Joomla, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So from what I've seen from Joomla Shine, we are from Joomla Shine. So we have done a customer research of our own, and we see that normal users will just pick WordPress. Let's deal with that. And Joomla is the primary target audience of Joomla are actually freelancers and developers. And those guys actually won't mind, having technical things. So the point that I see that making a Joomla homepage like more friendly probably is not targeting the right audience.
Well, I disagree. It might be the case that there's a disproportionately large amount of people right now who are developers or investors, or I think you said. But I want people to choose Joomla over WordPress. And I think a homepage like this can help with that. need people to come on their own accord and look at WordPress and look at Joomla and Drupal or whatever else they might be comparing and choose Joomla because of our message. And those are the kind of people we are targeting. There are plenty of other websites more targeted at the developers and more targeted as the more technical people and integrators, and we really want to try and focus those brand new users who mainly use the homepage to try and convert them, to get them started with Joomla. Because we're afraid a lot of them look at the homepage and then they're like, yeah, I don't really know what this is about, and then leave. And so we want to try and increase the conversion as our primary target.
One more remark. Usually, when I'm doing, when we design a page or a homepage and everything, we don't have the budget of the big companies like. So we go into the big company like PayPal or Microsoft or Target or AOL. It's a bit AOL is a bit down and everything, and see the concept of the website. I mean, if you look in, everybody knows PayPal, that you're going over there, and the message itself is one message. It's we're here to do business with you and everything. It's like the small business. You can see it by this background or something. Or
that will be the case here as well, I assume, but that's up to the designers.
Yeah.
That will be the case here too. I mean, there has to be friendly images and nice background images and stuff like that. You know, this is, as I said, just a wireframe. Anyway, I think for time reasons, I have to kind of go to the next because it's a long. Am I time? Are you here to kick me out? 3 minutes. Oh, jeez. All right. So the next area, we want to show a video introduction to those people who prefer that. A lot of research shows that people prefer to just not read and just click play. But we're also just explaining some of the reasons why we think you should choose Joomla. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question about it. My name is Chandrakant, and I came here from Pune.
Can you speak louder? I can't hear you.
Yeah, my name is Chandrakant. I am attending this Joomla conference for the first time. And I have some feedback about this website. What I think is for newcomers, it's a bit difficult to understand as to how one can contribute and join the community. It's very, very difficult for a newcomer because I have, had that issue when I visited the website. I contribute to localization of for Indian languages for various other projects. And when I tried doing that for Joomla, the communication channel is.
Can I just clarify? Are you saying it's difficult to use Joomla, or it's difficult to contribute to the project?
It's difficult to try understand how to contribute to Joomla.
Okay.
So as I said, I was trying to.
You need to find Sander. I thought he's sitting right there, right?
So
Sander has built a volunteers portal, and is a great way to get involved with it.
Yeah, I'll talk to him personally also. And the other thing is, I would like to understand what are the communication channels for various groups. Like, for example, if somebody wants to contribute to local.
Unfortunately, it's not really about redesigning the homepage. I will talk about that, but I now have only 2 minutes to rush through these slides. So if we could take that talk afterwards, so you can ask Sander. Right, next section, a video introduction and a short description of Joomla. I'm just going to rush through these. There's a link at the end or you can have the link as well, where you can go look at it yourself. Now, these icons are not the right ones, but we spent a lot of time figuring out which features and benefits we wanted to show. So we're showing search engine. We're showing search engine optimized, mobile friendly, and responsive. We've worked a lot with these words as well, and I can defend them, I think. Unlimited design potential. Multilingual, flexible and fully extendable, established open source software, 10 years, multi-user permission levels, and lightweight and fast. Any questions to that? Sorry, we have to rush a little bit. Great. Then the next section, again, this is as you scroll down, find the Joomla extension. So this will allow you to quickly find something in the extension directory. Find a Joomla professional will allow you to quickly find somebody in the Joomla resources directory. Then we show Joomla Numbers. We think it may be a little bit of a quirky section, but it shows certain things. It shows popularity and it shows strength and size. We show that there are 65 more than 65 million installations, more than 3 million forum posts, more than 550,000 lines of code, more than 30,000 extensions and templates, and more than 1,000 volunteers, and 64 languages. Any questions, any comments? Next section, we are showing, again, these are not the actual companies. This is just we found some other website who had those, and we just stole them. But we want to show the logos of the famous companies that are using Joomla. Then we have an announcement section that is kind of similar to what we have today, with a slideshow, which should be pictures from events such as this and other Joomla days around the world, and talking about the community. And the footer, we have social media icons and kind of like a bigger footer than there is now, where you can quickly navigate and find all of the Joomla area and the whole Joomla sphere. So last slide, I just want to thank these people who have all been part of contributing. Abhishek is here. We have David. There's Abhishek, thank you. David, Dawn, Jessica, Kim, Michael, Mike, and Shirat. All people who have helped participate and given feedback and worked on this project. The link below, I know it's a little bit long and stuff, but that's to where the actual wireframe is. If you come and maybe I'll tweet it. I'll tweet it in a moment. If you remember, my Twitter handle is. Let's just go back here. Oh dear. That's a lot of slides. There we go. My Twitter handle is @SorenBeck, and I'll tweet it in a moment. That link, you can see the slides, and you can also leave comments in there if you have any feedback. But I think that was about it. Thank you very much for coming and listening.